whichever you want.
Yeah.
Good morning and welcome to Today in L.A. I'm Mike Amos. He is Bill Rice Jr., and it's time to celebrate with the Auburn Tigers. The Auburn Tigers, ladies and gentlemen, the Auburn Tigers are #1 in basketball for the first time in their outstanding history. Auburn, #1 in basketball. And everybody's dancing and jumping and doing backward flips.
Doing slam dunks.
We don't know how long this will last, but Auburn is the #1 basketball team in America. And congratulations to all who's concerned. And there's a lot of fans out there.
I think Alabama was briefly #1 for about a week back in the Mark Godfrey era.
Yeah.
So this is something that does not happen in this state ever. And I'm surprised. Auburn has had some really good basketball teams in the last 20 years, and I thought some of those had been #1, but I guess not.
Well, there's a lot of big basketball fans out there that pay their homage to the Auburn Tigers on a frequent basis, and I know a lot of them are awfully proud this morning that the Auburn Tigers are #1 in basketball. Coach Charles Barkley, I don't know.
They weren't #1 when Charles Barkley was there.
I don't think they were, but, they were good when he was there. And I know a lot of people are excited about this, and I would be too. That's over the, over all of the so-called Dukes and Wake Forests and North Carolinas. And
well, it's tougher than football because there's about 350 teams that play Division I basketball. They're the #1 team.
And of course, we got a call not too long ago from Sonny Smith, the former Auburn basketball coach. He told us on this show, he said Auburn will be #1 before long.
Well, he said they were really, really good. I don't know if he said that, but you could tell in his voice that he meant it. And I said, well, I'll yield to Sonny Smith knowing basketball. And,
no question about it.
I haven't really watched them a lot. I keep up with them. I read about them and watch them a little. They are athletic, talented. They're good inside and outside. They got all the ingredients to do what, Mike?
To win a national championship.
Win it all.
And I'll tell you this right now. They got a kid from North Carolina to transfer in. He's 7'1", and all he did the other night was block 11 shots. Now, that's crazy, isn't it? Isn't that unbelievable?
Well, didn't I hear that in the Kentucky game or in some game he had 8 dunks?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's quite a player.
Well, and then y'all told me yesterday that 4 of Auburn's key players didn't play last year. They came in by the portal. So who knows how to use that portal? Auburn's.
Well, let me tell you who else, ladies and gentlemen, that uses this program. Alabama football has added some experience to overall inexperienced receiver room which is ahead in 2022. Jermaine Burden, have you ever heard that name? Jermaine Burden, who has started 15 games for Georgia for the past 2 seasons, announced Sunday on Twitter that he will transfer to the University of Alabama.
And that's
so
where
they
Alabama
have gone
needs
and
help.
got the best receiver that Georgia has. He is the 3rd significant addition for Alabama in the transfer portal. I'm going to write that down so I won't forget. Portal.
We love saying that word, don't we? The portal.
And I tell you, it's legal, and everybody's out there.
Well, let's summarize basketball. We have segued from football all to basketball, except for the NFL. You got Auburn that can win a national championship.
Oh yeah.
Alabama's in the running for making the big dance, and they were supposed to be better. So who knows what will happen to them? Charles Henderson and Coach Faison got a really good team.
Yeah, they do.
Pike LaBelle Arts has got a really good team in basketball. there must be some other schools in our viewing area that have really good teams, but that's enough to keep my interest in basketball.
Yeah, no question about it. And of course, the Tigers, all they had to do was romp over Kentucky to get this honor as the number one team in the country, and they
just lost one game, and that was in overtime, isn't that right?
That's right, and of course, they're right down the road, and I'm sure they're filling that gym up every time they get a chance.
That's a nice gym. That's paid dividends for them. They tore down that gym they had, which wasn't anything special, and spent a lot of money for a smaller gym, I think. But it's a nice gym, and they've had some really good basketball teams. It took them a while, but they finally got it.
And they left that big gym vacant. The Memorial Coliseum in Auburn, or the Sewell Coliseum in Auburn. It's been left vacant for a long time, and it held over I think they said it held about over 13,000 for their games. And
did they ever tear it down? Is it still there?
No, it's still there.
They must use it for something.
I think they must use it for graduation or something like that. I don't know exactly what they use it for, but of course we got a lot of football to talk about. The pros are getting ready, and that's going to be awfully, if it's any indication of what has already happened, that's going to be a great series coming up.
Well, we lost some of our big stars, though. Tom Brady out, Aaron Rodgers out.
Yep.
Got Mahomes still in. He's back to form.
Something.
Then Joe Burrows from LSU and the Cincinnati Bengals. And then they've got a receiver that is also from LSU that's lit it up as a rookie. He sat out his senior year. Didn't even play football, Mike.
Uh-huh.
And he has gone into the NFL and been an instant star. What's that tell you? You don't have to play your college football your senior year last year. You know why I'm mentioning that? Alabama's outside linebacker and quarterback. You think they really even need to play next year?
Not really.
Wouldn't they be drafted in the top 5 if they didn't play?
I know it. Of course, to reflect a little bit on the games this past weekend, probably one of the greatest games ever played, and it's the best I've ever seen, and I know I've heard so many comments over the radio in different places. Is that this game? This 42-36 victory by the Kansas City Chiefs will go down as perhaps the greatest game ever played by two.
Certainly the greatest fourth quarter.
Here's the rundown of how it worked. All right, it was tied at 7. Then it was tied at 14. And then Buffalo went ahead Kansas City went ahead with 9 points, and then Buffalo scored.
Guten Morgen.
Scored 7 points, and then in the last, listen to this now, in the last 2 minutes of the game, Buffalo outscored. Kansas City outscored Buffalo 19-15. The final score of 42-36, and what a game that was. And let me say this, and it was done in a class manner. It was two young quarterbacks that went at it, and with all they had, and
the worst thing is the overtime rules on the NFL, though. I just don't think it's fair that whoever wins the coin toss is going to win the game if they score a touchdown. And you knew whoever won that coin toss, the defenses were awful. Nobody could stop anybody at the very end. And you knew that Kansas City got the ball, or if Buffalo got the ball, the game was going to be over.
Yeah. Well, no question about it. And I still say this, and we didn't talk about this as much, but if they kicked off to them scrub kick, they could have called timeout immediately. And probably maybe a second went off. So that doesn't have the effect as a lot of these people were talking about. A lot of people were saying, if they would have took the ball and tried to return it, it would have been about 6 or 7 seconds left to go in the game. But
I don't know, Dad. If you kick it on the ground immediately, they have no way to stop the clock.
Well, let's say this.
As soon as that ball hits the ground and starts rolling.
I know it, but I know it. You're right. But most of them would have received.
No, I don't think it starts running until somebody touches the ball from the other team.
No, as long as it hits the ball in play, the ball.
As long as it hits a player in play.
No, it's always if it hits the ground, the clock.
No, you're wrong, Mike. It's got to hit a player on the kickoff.
We're going to have to look up that rule then, because I always thought if you kicked off.
No.
I don't think the clock starts running.
No, it's got to be touched.
But you're right. If they immediately fell on the ball, that would maybe take 1 second. You're right.
Mike, we're busy celebrating the Auburn Tigers, and I'll do it once more. And let's hear it for the Auburn Tigers as Albee and its Tigers are #1 in the nation with 45 first-place votes and an 18-1 record, followed by Gonzaga 15-2, Arizona 16-1, Baylor 17-2, Kansas is 16-2, and those Purdue Boilermakers are 17-2. Boy, I tell you what, this is going to be a heck of a basketball year, because you look at these records, and let's see, Duke is 15-3, and they're ranked #9 in the nation, and Michigan State, coached by the great Izzo, is 15-3, and the next SEC team was Kentucky, 15-4. They were ranked number 12 in the country, but Auburn's got all the fanfare today, and I don't know. I would think they might be throwing the tissue on the page. Any of you folks need toilet tissue, just go by the where they throw out all the tissue and get you a couple of rolls.
Well, it's good for recruiting and the brand of Auburn basketball, but it don't mean jack. Once you get in that tournament, it's even Steven, every team has a chance.
And if you're out there and you're throwing tissue on the paper at Toomer's Corner, throwing a tissue paper on all those trees there, leave the Charmin for me, if you don't mind. I'd like to have a few rolls of Charmin, wouldn't you?
Well,
listen, it's Mercedes, the Charmin, and the rest of the cars. Yeah.
Our house gets rolled every homecoming because my wife's a teacher.
Yeah.
And I save some of that Charmin whenever the house gets rolled.
But I tell you, it is a proud moment for folks that have been basketball fans for years. Coach
Bruce Pearl.
Coach Bruce Pearl had made it happen. I go all the way back to Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Did you know anything about them?
Not really.
They were a great basketball team back in the late 50s and early 60s, and the coach was one of the all-time greats, and
so about the time Alabama had the Rocket 8, Auburn had a good team around that era too.
Oh yeah, they did. They were good, but they weren't #1. And but back those days, Kentucky ruled the roost in college basketball. Well, actually, UCLA ruled the roost.
If you look at the basketball records, it's just silly how far Kentucky leads every historic record in this, like SEC titles. How many would you say Kentucky has had in the history of the SEC? Probably 50.
But the greatest program of all was UCLA with John Wooden, and they won. They won several
for about 15 years, but not for 80 like Kentucky has.
Yeah, I know it. But there's been some great Kentucky teams, and when I mentioned these guys right here, they had a great team back in those days.
You know, Kentucky just lost Joe B. Hall.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was watching an interesting documentary on ESPN or SEC Network about Joe B. Hall following Adolph Rupp.
He was Adolph Rupp's assistant for a long time.
Well, he came in and he integrated the basketball team, which was a big deal. And the story was on Givens and this other player that Kentucky had. There were two African Americans that they signed, and man, they were both outstanding players and outstanding citizens, and Kentucky had no problem integrating, and very impressive documentary. And
oh yeah, I can go back with a lot of great Kentucky players, and they had one player years ago that was one of the great players of all time, and you know, Kyle Macy and Rick Roby and Kevin Greavy. Have you heard those names before? Some of the great ones.
Givens was in that one.
Yeah, that's right. Givens was a great player. Yeah. But of course, you know, as I mentioned, you know, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was he was a great coach, and you know.
This documentary.
Auburn's had good basketball teams. What I'm saying, and but nothing like this. This team, it's a great team.
Well, they had a team under who's our friend that coached at South Alabama?
Cliff
Ellis, yeah.
He had them number 1 or 2 seed in America one year.
He might have been a seed, but he wasn't number 1 though.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Then Bruce Pearl had Auburn number 1 seed a couple of years ago, and then Auburn kind of fell down a little last year, but they were ineligible for the tournament because they self-imposed sanctions, and so Auburn had it going on, and then they kind of fell down a little. They were still pretty good, but nothing like they had been. And then this year they bounced back and are better than they've ever, because apparently primarily from the portal.
Yeah, of course, they're going to be, you know, I would think Bruce Pearl's going to be good with the portal for a long time, you know, and it looks like that's the way they did it. In fact, Rice has got a report on that. You said 4 out of the 5 starters were portal players, or what?
Yeah, well, according to Michael, their key players, 4, you know, they probably got about 9 or 10 that play every game, but 4 of their key players were transfers.
Yeah.
But that's common for basketball. I mean, but Auburn just did better with their portal transfers than other teams have done with their portal transfers.
Yeah, it's official like in the NFL. When you kick the ball off and it hits the ground at any point, the clock runs. I'm reading the NFL.
It hits the ground?
Yeah, they're saying that if they would have squib kicked it, that at best Kansas City would have had the ball with 8 seconds left, probably 4 or 5 seconds when we run off the clock. As soon as the ball hits the ground, it bounces until Kansas City recovered it and landed on the ball. That's when the clock would stop.
I've never heard that. That's
probably different in
really
pros and college. Yeah.
So it would have been running the whole time. As soon as it hit the ground, they would have been forced to recover it, and that would have won the game for them.
Well, here's the risk you run though. If you squib it, a lot of times when you squib it, people fall on it at about the 40-yard line. I mean, you don't know how far that deep that ball's going to go. So that's like giving them 15 yards on a pass completion.
And what we're talking about
if you could squib it and make sure.
Another situation would have been to let him keep on running, and the clock would have run out.
The 13 seconds will be synonymous in the lives of the Buffalo Bills for years to come. Is that right?
You know, I had a little Money on the Buffalo Bills. I didn't watch the game, but I didn't realize how close I was to winning my Money. I mean, if you would have told me that Buffalo goes up by 3 points and there's 13 seconds left in the game,
that's right.
I would say that's Money in the bank, but it wasn't.
Man, you didn't watch that game live, right?
I don't really get into the NFL.
I tell you what, you missed the greatest game ever, maybe.
Anybody that get into the NFL this weekend, you're out of your mind if you're not a football fan. It was the greatest 4 games you could ever watch.
I wish I would have watched it.
It was unreal, no question. And, of course, the Rams beat the Tampa Bay after Brady had brought them all the way back from, what was it?
27-3 down?
27-3 down.
Yeah, both Troy players are now out of the playoffs. Mario Addison's defensive end for the Buffalo Bills, and Steve McClendon is a reserve defensive tackle for Tampa Bay. So neither one of those guys will
Did he have a good game for Tampa Bay? One thing about him.
He played a little bit. He played a little bit. Addison played a lot though for the Bills.
Yeah.
He missed Mahomes several times in the backfield.
Yeah, I tell you, there was some poor tackling, wasn't it?
Mahomes showed he can run. The other night,
Yeah.
he made a lot of big runs.
And I'll tell you something else about him. He's got class. That kid has got class, and written all over him. He's going to go down as one of the all-time greats.
It doesn't matter where you play in college, man. I mean, Josh Allen played at Wyoming of all places.
Yeah, that's right. Played at Wyoming.
And Mahomes played at Texas Tech under Kingsbury.
That's right.
I mean,
now let me ask you this:
Did our guy, when you look at the quarterback,
any of our guys coach him, Mike? For when he was at Texas Tech?
I don't think Neil Brown and Matt Moore were there then. I think he was there under Cliff Kingsbury, I believe.
Yeah. But
I'd have to look and see. But I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo played at Eastern Illinois.
Yeah.
San Francisco's quarterback.
Well, who do y'all think is going to win the Super Bowl? Right? Who's your favorite right now?
I mean, I think San Francisco, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mike, I'm gonna throw
their defense. Their defense is led by the former Alabama great, and his first year as a defensive coordinator, he's probably going to end up getting a head coaching job. It's D'Amico Ryan.
D'Amico Ryan, that's right, former Alabama linebacker.
Yeah, I wonder if one day he could be coach at Alabama. Remember that name?
I remember when he played at Jeff Lanier, and
played Troy,
all SEC linebacker at Alabama, and then he played the pros for about 11 years before he retired.
Yeah, I remember he was a good all-around kid and great student and leader. Just everything you're looking for in a student athlete. So he has made his mark in coaching in a hurry. You're right. San Francisco lives off of their defense, and a former Alabama player is their defensive coordinator.
Mike,
he will be a head coach.
Mike, let me throw out a little trivia question. What other great quarterback played at Eastern Illinois? Tony Romo, exactly. He was from Eastern Illinois.
He was a free agent.
I tell you what, let me tell you this. Who is this guy look-alike, Mike?
Tony Romo?
Who, Jimmy G?
Yeah, who's he a look-alike?
Frank Sinatra?
No. Hey, the movie star. Great movie star out there.
I don't know.
God, it's to me it's evident that he looks just like
George Clooney.
Yeah, he looks like George Clooney. Look at those guys; they look just alike. He could go down and be.
It's like Big Game Bob Orry from Andalusia looks like Will Smith.
But
you got Jimmy G from Eastern Illinois with San Francisco. Stafford played at Georgia. Joe Burrow played at LSU, and then Mahomes played at Texas Tech.
That's really this is going to be a great weekend of
Tannehill for the Titans played wide receiver for 3 years at A&M, Texas A&M, and then he moved to quarterback. I think his last 2 years.
Talking about Tannehill.
Yeah.
Now he was somewhere before.
He wasn't really even a quarterback in college.
That's right. I remember his wide receiver. I want to say.
Yeah, he was.
And for A&M, for Texas A&M, I wanted to.
I tell you what, they wasted Julio Jones and Brown, those two great receivers this year. I mean, they need a quarterback that can throw the ball. They need to sign Bryce Young after this year.
You're right.
Well, before you got on the air, I mentioned something to your dad that's kind of scary to me as an Alabama fan. The great receiver for the Bengals is Chase Young, isn't that his name? That has become
Jamar Chase.
All right, well, I was kind of close. Jamar
Chase. He's LSU too.
Well, he's become a star as a rookie. He's going to be the rookie of the year, I guess. Well, the thing about Jamar is he sat out his whole last year. It didn't affect him at all. He was the number 5 overall pick in the draft, I think, and he has become a star. So don't you think that some of these other great prospects are looking at that and say, well, why do I need to risk an injury? And Alabama has 2 of them that would be top 5 picks right now. They're risking tens of millions of dollars playing.
And it's sure not over yet.
They've already had to watch Jamison Williams and John Mechie tear the ACL, so what more do they need to watch?
You're right.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there.
Boy, I tell you,
I'll say this: Bryce Young will make $5 million. Guaranteed. Will name him as likeness next year, maybe more than that. A lot of people think he's going to be the Dr. Pepper. Rep, like DJ Umble with the guy from Clemson was last year.
I don't know. I'll tell you what.
Will Anderson will make a couple $1 million name, image, and likeness as well.
Well, I will tell you
that might
this.
save Alabama from having a repeat of that scenario. Then
I tell you this, Mike. His stock has gone down.
Who? Bryce Young?
Yes, sir.
Dad,
because of it's called physicality.
How in the world can you win a national championship game without your 2 star receivers?
They would knock him out of the game, though. He's not a physical guy.
You don't think that Jamison Williams, if he would have stayed in that game, would have had 200 yards receiving?
I don't know.
He had 70 yards receiving in 14 minutes.
They were double teaming him.
It didn't matter. They couldn't cover it.
Oh.
But it didn't matter. I guarantee you, if Alabama had Jamison Williams and Mechie, they beat Georgia again. There's no doubt in my mind.
I agree with that too. Yeah.
Well, now who's going?
And I'll tell you what, they might beat him by 2 touchdowns.
Michael, who's going to keep him off of him though, Mike? He would have been swarmed.
Dad, those guys are elite wide receivers.
Yeah.
They would have got open.
I know it, but the thing about it is the difference in being able to turn around. He couldn't turn around, Mike. He was getting swamped.
He would have got rid of the ball quicker. The timing of the route, the receivers didn't know how to run routes. He didn't have any kind of. Yeah. He barely thrown to those guys.
I think if I was asked, somebody was asked that knows about his stock and how his stock has rose or how it's dropped, most people will say his stock has dropped.
You didn't see how many times Jamison Williams got open in that game? One time he would have been a touchdown. The time he blew out his knee.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just saying, as a Georgia fan out there, and they're coming out of the woodworks down here, I'm seeing more caps than I've ever seen in my life. If they really realistically think they beat Alabama at Alabama's best, they're out of their mind. Alabama has 2 starting corners out, 2 starting star wide receivers. I'm talking about James Williams, maybe a top 5 pick. Mechie is probably late first round.
But he's, that injury has brought his stock down too, Mike.
I know, but I'm just saying that's 4 starters out against Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you got Mechie and Williams, and Alabama has 14 more points, and that's enough to win the ball game.
I think we ought to put that logo on the back of Troy's helmets, Wiley Sanders truck lines.
I think you need to have the Sanders line, the offensive and defensive line, with this name, image, and likeness thing.
And then the other one,
Wiley Sanders' colors already match Troy anyway. It would be a no-brainer.
And then the other one.
You can do it. You could have the best offensive line and/or defensive line, definitely in the Sun Belt Conference, and then you get the quarterbacks and the running backs that want to be behind that offensive line.
And then the quarterbacks need to have the word premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass in downtown in Troy, Alabama, and they have a tremendous amount of great used cars and trucks also on the lot in right here in Troy. And
my little girls, little Amos girls, Mary Prater and Millie, are now COVID-free, so they return back to school.
Bless their heart. Did they have to take a shot or anything, or did they?
No, they just had to go take a rapid test at the pediatrician, and then she wrote a note. And,
now, how about the teachers? Now we got to worry about the teachers, don't we?
Well, yeah, that's the problem now. We just got a message this morning from our preschool that they couldn't field enough teachers to take care of all the kids at school due to COVID, and now they've got so many kids that have COVID that now the preschool is going to be closed for 2 days. So we got our kids back in school for 1 day, or at least one of them back in school for 1 day.
And we're talking about a big elementary school, isn't it, Mike?
Well, no, the elementary school was
Oh, okay, yeah.
They can close in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And we're stuck still paying them.
But I have how about our little daughter that goes to the big school? Is she affected?
Oh, yeah. Mary Prater's at school today. She's dressed as, it's the 100th day, so she's dressed like an old lady today.
Yeah, they're doing that in Troy, too. That's funny.
Yeah, I was looking at a bunch of pictures on Facebook and Instagram this weekend. Apparently, Troy had their Triple T dance. And I was thinking back to all the crazy Triple T days when I was a kid growing up, being a Twilighter.
Oh, yeah, Twilighter.
I was a 21 brother.
21 and
Tri-Mega.
Tri-Mega,
yeah. Troy, a small town like Troy had little sororities like that.
They didn't have Tri-Omega when I was in high school.
That went on a long time. That was a big thing for them.
Yeah, my mom was a Twilighter.
Yeah.
My mom was a Twilighter.
It wasn't a dime bit of difference in the two, the Twilighters and the 21.
You're right. It was a big deal, though. The Twilight back then, it was the Twilighter 21 thing.
It wasn't a big deal. I saw girls crying their eyes out when they didn't get one or the other.
Yeah, I'm talking about that formula, but yeah, it's like a fraternities and sororities. It can be brutal, and unfair.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it makes me feel real old when I've got all these friends that have daughters and sons that are seniors in high school. I got friends I've got kids in college now. I mean, it's just nuts.
Your best buddy, where is his? What grades are his children in? Calhoun. Richard Calhoun, yeah.
Richard's got a daughter in 9th grade now that goes to Montgomery.
Yeah, that's great.
You know, I remember I always went to the Twilighter 21 and had fun. Was fortunate to go, but the one I remember is I went as a freshman in college, and here's what's my two of my best friends in my class were Charles Bradshaw and Scott Ramey. We all three went to the Twilighter 21 over Christmas break when we were freshmen.
Right. It was always Christmas break.
High school girls asked us to the formal, and so I went with Janine Porter.
Oh boy!
And then Scott, he went with a girl he dated a little bit, and then I can't remember who Charles went with. And that was neat. They were in college, but Scott was there in his Army West Point dress.
Was he really?
Blues. So he won the
oh God,
the picture.
That was something.
Yeah, I think a lot of us did that our freshman year too. I went with Stacy Beard, I think.
That was a pretty little girl, no question. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, our show is brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass, where they've always got a great selection of brand new Ram trucks to choose from, and of course, their volume of new and used cars is tremendous, and so they want you to drop by there today and take advantage of some tremendous sales at Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks. We'll be back.
We had
I wish you could taste how much better food tastes when cooked on a Green Mountain grill, but I can let you in on the reason that's true. Our pellets contain water, so they create steam while you cook, keeping your food moist. Does a gas or charcoal grill do that? I think not.
Come and see us at Southern Grill and Patio just off the square in Troy.
Life is hectic enough without worrying if your lights will stay on or if there's hot water for your child's bath. So count on natural gas to keep the energy flowing, even when the weather is unpredictable. Natural gas is always there to keep your home warm, showers hot, and food cooked to perfection. That's why America has relied on safe and affordable natural gas for more than 150 years. And we will be here for you and future generations too. You can count on natural gas from Southeast Alabama Gas District.
The Walmart Distribution Center in Brundage is now hiring. We've extended our $2,000 signing bonus until the end of January 2022. And you can go back to school with our Live Better You program. Apply online today.
Our community is the driving force behind our stores. Our commitment to you has been our #1 priority for over 30 years. Whether it is providing quality, fresh, local, and affordable products or aiding local schools, churches, and charities, Piggly Wiggly is here for you.
that I think
Piggly Wiggly, ladies and gentlemen, on North 39th Street, and also on the bypass in Troy. Ladies and gentlemen, every time I go in there, as far as their produce, wonderful produce, their meat department is the best in town. And of course, what I like about them is, hey, will you cut me a steak? And I watch them cut it and trim it, and buddy, I'm getting a great steak every time I go to the Piggly Wiggly.
Well, we had some ground beef from Piggly Wiggly last night, and my wife made chili.
Oh, yeah, well, I bet that was good.
Really good.
This is chilly-type weather. And, let me tell you, I don't do many things right in the kitchen, but I can make chili.
Ooh. Tell me how you make it. What do you put
well,
in?
the key is McCormick chili sauce. It's
Yeah,
not a real strong sauce, and you don't add anything to it. You go ahead and you put the meat and get it brown and everything, and then you drain it, and then you put the McCormick's chili sauce in there and stir it up real good and let it simmer a little bit.
Well, I can do that so far.
And then you get the beans, the chili beans, and I usually get the light and maybe 1 can of the dark chili beans. And I put them in there, and it's just that easy.
Well, that's what we have, but you don't put onions or peppers or anything?
I don't, because some people in my family don't like onions. And but what I'm saying,
he puts chunky tomatoes in it.
I put diced tomatoes in it. That's what I use, diced tomatoes, and usually a couple of cans of that, and stir it real good, and let it simmer.
That's good.
And you got. But now, if you want onions and you want peppers and all that, you throw them in. But just a basic chili, it's all easy. You go ahead and get your ground beef.
Now, what do you put on top of it? You put cheese or sour cream on top?
I don't do that. I'm making chili.
Oh my God! I got to have cheese and sour cream on chili.
Well, I don't do
what about corn
that
chips?
way.
We put Frito corn chips.
Well, I do that. I use corn chips on the side. Anybody that wants it can pour it on top, and it's always real good. But that's a simple way to do chili, but it's very easy too.
Well, that's Max when he calls in.
And add about a can of water to not make it too thick and so forth. So you've got your ground beef, and then you've got your chili sauce, and then you got the beans and tomatoes, and you're ready to go.
That's about all it takes. It's real easy to make.
Yeah, my wife makes a really good tomato basil soup that we do with, there's bread out there called Simply Bread. It's 45 calories a slice.
Yeah, okay.
So you can put a little cheese on that Simply Bread and dip it in that tomato basil soup, man, and that's pretty good eating.
I want to make an announcement. I just want to make it in front of you. And, I'm not saying that I will not be tempted many, many times, but I am through with sugar. I am through with sugar. I told you that right now.
I want to mark this day.
And that includes my cakes and pies that I like so much, my pecan pies and my.
That you buy every time somebody comes in here and has their cake
exactly.
Sale.
Oh yeah.
January 25th, 2022. Mike Amos says he's done with sugar.
I'm done with sugar. I want to live. I want to live. Hey, I'm not going to live with eating all the sugar I do. And I'm not. And all you folks out there that I love your cakes and pies, but I'm not going to eat them. Can you believe that? That's going to be hard to do, especially.
There is a lot of crises, so-called crises in America that I think are exaggerated and fear-mongering. But there's one crisis or epidemic that I think is for real, and it's the obesity epidemic. And, you can read the stories and just go to the mall and look around. America has never been heavier than. I'm saying this about myself. Yeah. I need to lose a lot of weight. And,
now let me tell you this. Now again,
so we all need to start doing something.
Sugar. I said sugar. Now a baked potato has sugar in it. Natural sugar.
Are you going to eat a baked potato?
Not. I don't. I probably will not. But
okay.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't like at Thanksgiving. I might like a little dressing and with cranberry sauce, something like that. But But I'm saying that
it's tough. I'm a wine rep, and I have to do a lot of wine tastings, and I've lost like 55 pounds, and it's tough for me to have to drink wine because wine has so much sugar in it.
Yeah.
That is tough.
You're right. But I said sugar now. It's going to be, it might be some times that, I might eat a baked potato, and last night I had a sweet potato. Now, I've done some research, and I love sweet potato, especially with butter and cinnamon and all that. But you can eat
a sweet potato?
A sweet potato, yeah.
Well, that's good.
And so that
I
gives
think
you...
what you can have also, a lot of people don't realize is, you do like cauliflower, like we do buffalo cauliflower, hot sauce is 0 calories.
Yeah.
So we did buffalo cauliflower a lot during football games this year, so like hot wings, stuff like that, and then like pulse and dill pickles. I mean, a dill pickle spear is like 2 calories. Just little things like that throughout the day. If you're just
I'd hate to know I had to live off of it though.
When I was on,
I like celery too. Celery and
when I'm on the Atkins,
you like a ranch or blue cheese.
Yeah.
On the Atkins low carb, which is really low sugar too. Pickles, dill pickles are a staple snack on that, and then celery too. And you can actually ranch dressing is low carb, so you can actually have ranch dressing.
Well, let me just say this.
The problem with Atkins, and I've done Atkins several times, is every single time I would get off Atkins, I would gain it back. And it's probably 10 pounds more.
Yeah,
it's just one of those, once you get off it, it's just so hard to...
But you say your daughter has stayed on it, hasn't she?
Oh, yeah, she's...
I mean,
and she looks great, too.
On this side, I'm on noon. I mean, shoot, I had a pita pizza yesterday with pepperoni and 3 slices of cheese on top of it, and it was just a weak pita. I put, marinara
a weak pita.
Well, if you can stay on this program, it is perfect.
And onions on it, banana peppers, onions and banana peppers are 0 calories. Yeah. I love it.
Here's the key to dieting. You just got to believe in your diet. Whatever diet it is. If you go all in and work the program, I think it'll work. And when you're right,
I go to Chick-fil-A and get 16 chicken nuggets all the time, and 16 chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A is 500 calories.
That's not bad, is it? That's not sugar either, is it?
No, but I'm just saying. I mean, like my diet that I do is just basically all about just counting your calories. I can tell how many calories.
I don't want to do that.
See, I've done both too.
It's all about accountability. Like I have about 1,680 calories a day.
Gosh.
So I mean, I'll start this morning and I'll have a bowl of overnight oats, which is oats, some low-fat yogurt, and some not skim milk, but almond milk.
Almond milk? Almond milk? What you do drinking almond milk?
It's in my overnight oats. My wife makes all this.
Okay.
But anyway, I'll put like some ground cinnamon on it and sprinkle it around. Cinnamon's only no calories.
Yeah.
Or if I want to change it up and do strawberries, I'll chop up strawberries.
And you can put sweetener on it too, and
Well, no, I mean every once in a while I put honey on it. But I'm just saying, I mean, like that's like 210 calories. I start my day, and it's very, very filling. Oats are really filling. I had no clue.
Well, pizza, and especially when I'm at the beach, I eat pizza a lot down there, and and I love my pizza with anchovies.
Anchovies,
not anchovies.
You like it with pineapple.
I like it with pineapple. I love pineapple.
Who ever thought to do that in the first place? But it's good.
That's called a Hawaiian pizza.
Well, I tell you what, I love it with pizza, and I'm gonna probably have to, stay away from it. But I like
You know what I like is spaghetti.
I do too. I love spaghetti, and that's gonna be hard for me.
That's tough for me on my Atkins diet. I can't eat the spaghetti. Although, if you do away with the noodles and just get some low-carb sauce, you can have the meat sauce with onions. And I do that sometimes.
Do away with the noodles. Oh, that'd be hard to do.
But it's better than nothing.
But again, I'm really attacking sugar. Like I'm attacking the and I hate to say that.
I think
Lee,
you're right.
we
all
make
need
the
to
best
do
Italian
that.
cream cake in the world. But dear, unless I maybe I'll think about it at the holiday.
Do away with the Coca-Cola. Do away with the soft drinks. Do away with the desserts.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't have a problem with that. But I do the
sweet
dessert.
tea. Don't do sweet tea.
Yeah.
Drink unsweet tea.
And unsweet tea with sweetener if you need it, you know. And but I will say this that it's going to be a challenge. And see, by committing myself on this show, like, man, my game is what are you made of? You going to tell the truth or what? You know.
Well, I said about 2 or 3 weeks ago that I was starting my program, and I have not started my program. You come up with these excuses like I've had sick kids and birthday parties and excuse after excuse, and so here we are 2 or 3 weeks later, and I have not started my program.
Well, let's do something. All right. I'm trying to stay away from sugar. All right, that's the main thing. Sugar.
Don't eat the sugar.
Don't eat the sugar.
You know who used to call everybody sugar? Raven Beasley.
Oh, really?
You know him? He coached Dixie baseball.
I remember him, yeah.
And I played on his team, the Reds, and Dixie Majors, and he would call it, he'd say, hit the ball, sugar. And I say, sugar, I'm going to try to hit the ball. Don't put any more pressure on me.
Let's do, Mike, you need to help me here now. All right. Now, sugar.
Well, I was planning on coming to Troy to eat breakfast with you tomorrow morning, man. I was planning on going to eat at somewhere I can have a milkshake.
Oh yeah, we'll do that. We'll eat at Bird Drugs on the corner in downtown Troy. The best breakfast in town. Hey, try I like their cracked eggs. I always order cracked eggs. That means I want the real egg.
They got good bacon and sausage.
And I want it scrambled.
Grits.
Yes, sir, and they got wonderful grits. But see, I can't eat the grits.
I wish I could go to the university cafeteria.
Well, we can do that. Yeah, they still have a great breakfast over there. Rice and I might eat over there today.
Let's go. We haven't been in a long time.
That's right, and of course it's good breakfast.
Go see some of the new coaching staff. They'll probably be out and about.
Well, you know, a lot
That's where we see the athletes. Yeah.
I know this. They got them checking off. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you play football at Troy, you're checked off and in every time you go eat. You know, they want to make sure you have 3 full-fledged meals per day.
I wrote a column one time saying called the myth of the exploited athlete. You know, you hear people say all these college athletes are being exploited. And I just spent a couple of paragraphs talking about the food that these exploited athletes get to have.
Yeah.
That place is like Morrison's that we're ready to go to.
You know,
they can eat there 3 times a day, have all they want. I mean, what's the value of that over a year?
That's right.
I mean, there are people that would kill to be able to eat there.
Those kids get all they can eat. Don't ever.
All the orange juice, all the coffee, all the eggs, all the toast, all the hash browns, fruit,
biscuits, sweet rolls, whatever.
All you want. It's on part of your scholarship.
Yeah. I can't eat bread, and I hate to say that. I can't eat bread. That's one of the main items.
That's tough. Yeah, tough.
Now, my wife always looks at carbs, and most everything that's buried under the ground is a carb. Is that right? You know, from turnip greens to.
Turnips are low carb. You can have those.
Yeah, all right.
The good thing about the low carb diet, there are enough things that you can have. Any meat, turnip greens, salad, green beans. You can have. What I like about the low carb diet is you can have all you want. So you can go get 5 scrambled eggs and sausage and
eggs are good.
Bacon, and just pour it on your plate and go back for seconds, and it's still low carb.
Probably the best thing, and they'll do it for you. You know what we'll do? We'll have a omelet. Omelet is probably one of the best things that you can eat.
I love it.
You get eggs.
What's your favorite omelet?
Western, you do the Western omelet or
Spanish omelet.
I like sausage, and they've got a lady
ham and cheese.
They've got a lady that's making omelets as we speak over there at the university. You know. And,
looks like for the basketball game this weekend, they're going to have a world-class dog show. Will be the battle of in-state rivals Saturday at Trojan Arena. Detroit hosts South Alabama in a critical Sun Belt Conference still. The world-famous halftime dogs flying dip show will highlight the action off the court with a thrilling halftime performance. Looks like they perform all over North America, including shows at football, basketball, baseball, soccer, rugby, and equestrian events. The show will feature a pair of high-flying dogs with Athena, the 2016 World Disc Dog Champion, a Belgium Mollusk, and then a Matrix Border Collie taking the court at halftime.
Oh, gosh.
You'll be able to watch dogs entertain you at halftime.
Yeah.
And the kids' ages 12 and under will receive a free general admission ticket with the purchase of an adult ticket by visiting Trojan Arena box office on game day. The Troy Kids Court returns to practice gym inside Trojan Arena. Kids of all ages come enjoy the
actually, we went to our game
before the game.
And did that. Those inflatables in the practice court, the kids love them.
I tell you what, they do a great job of promoting.
Troy will wear Cardinal jerseys for the game, and the first 3,000 fans through the gates will receive a free Cardinal shaker. Additionally, the first 500 Troy University students and attendants will receive a free Cardinal T-shirt. You think they'll have 3,000 fans?
Yeah,
that would be great if they did.
I don't know. This is the time of the year that a lot of those kids go home on the weekends.
Well, they're doing everything they can to get you there. They got a good team, a rival. They got the dogs. They're going to do their cool thing at halftime.
Yeah.
These inflatables. It's more than inflatables. They have other games for kids in the practice courts.
This is good. It says the game will serve as a bonus game for the Greek Life Challenge. All members of the attendance will earn bonus points for their chapters. And this is exciting, too. Troy head coach John Summerall will be there and will introduce his new football coaching staff at halftime of the game.
Wonderful.
They think of everything.
I tell you, they do a fabulous job, Brent.
Kids in free. If you buy a ticket and kids under 12 get in free.
Yeah. Brent called me this morning on my show. That's my telephone number, 670-0052. I want to say some nice things about you.
The concession stands will have a specialty food item. A donut bacon cheeseburger will be on sale during the game.
A donut bacon cheeseburger.
Yeah, that sounds like a little bit of sugar, Dad. Why don't you get one of those?
No, I don't believe I can do that.
With the bread.
Let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. I want your help. If you see me, you say, all right, you're minding your diet or you're staying away from sugar. I'm staying away from sugar because it's just a way of life, and I look forward to the challenge, but it's going to be hard. But it's going to be hard.
You know
grits are hard. Grits are hard to stay
Mike,
away.
once you get, like your son has, once you get in the habit, after about 2 weeks, you'll be okay.
Yeah,
so
right.
you got to stick with it for about 2 weeks.
I love grits, and I can't eat them, can I, y'all? Can I, y'all?
Not on low carb.
Well, grits don't have sugar in them.
They don't? Well, all right. Well, I can eat little grits every now and then. But
bites would probably be okay.
I would have thought that would turn to sugar. It doesn't?
I don't think so.
The tough part when you're on Atkins, you can eat all the eggs and bacon and sausage you want,
right.
but you can't get the grits and the hash browns to go with it.
Especially,
or the toast.
Especially with the omelet. Now, the omelet's the best way to go. That's on the Atkins diet, but
I eat a lot of omelets on the Atkins diet.
But it's.
Can you make a good omelet right?
No,
I can't either.
One out of 4 or 5 times I do it.
My wife's the champion of omelets.
Well, tell her she needs to make her pa-in-law.
It's just one little flip, isn't it? I mean, I can't do it.
And of course, tell her to make one for her pa-in-law sometimes. Of course,
Troy baseball will start in less than it's like 25 days. They'll start the season.
Hey, that's
on
something.
the 18th. So baseball's right around the corner.
Tell us who they play.
They'll open the season against Holy Cross.
Holy Cross, ladies and gentlemen, is coming to Troy University.
Yeah.
And all you good Catholics out there.
4 games at Riddle Chase Field, so you'll better catch Troy on the 18th. They'll play a doubleheader on the 19th, and then the final game will be on the 20th, and then the next 3 days later, Dad, they'll be up in Auburn at Plainsman Park playing the Auburn Tigers.
And it's a chance. I'm gonna look forward to that. I'll make the trip. Now, first
you can't
of all,
have any sugar when we go over there.
I know it. I'm not. And, now, how about beer, Michael? Can I drink beer?
Yeah, I think you can have that. That's supposed to be
Are you serious?
Have a beer.
Whoa. Well, beer doesn't have sugar in it, Mike?
I mean, I don't think beer has sugar in it. But I can
All right, now let me ask you this.
On the Atkins diet, you can have a 1 or 2, if you don't go overboard, low-carb beers, which are Michelob Ultra and or Miller Lite, have the lowest carbs.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you this, but I've got to be conscious of all of this, but I'm looking for a ride to Mobile on Thursday night when the Trojans play South Alabama in a huge basketball game. I'm looking for somebody to drive me to Mobile on my vehicle. And
I would take you. My wife has already told me she's got some.
We understand.
Gathering
We
Thursday
understand.
night.
You're right. We understand.
She's got something Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. Wednesday night is choir. Thursday night she's
And
got
y'all eat
reading
in the church. Do y'all have good food at the church?
Yes.
All right, let's see. What is it usually? Let's see if you got any
Well,
sugar.
sometimes we had breakfast for supper. Last time we had spaghetti that was really, really good.
Yeah. You can't eat it though on my diet, can you, Mike?
Well, I don't know exactly what kind of diet you're doing. I mean,
Well, I'm just trying to stay away from sugar, but that's the main thing. Cookies and cakes and pies and all that.
Let's go and
the sugar blocker diet.
Yeah.
Let's go to Trojan Dining today, and then I'm starting my program.
We're going to go there for breakfast. We'll go there.
You got Troy softball starting the season on February the 11th, so they'll actually start 7 days before the guys. They actually open with a Trojan Classic. The College of Charleston will be coming in town. I've got one of my best friends from Troy's daughters on the dance team at College of Charleston.
Yeah.
Sean Duncan's daughter.
Sean Duncan, precious. You remember Sean Duncan?
Yep.
Wasn't she a cute girl?
And then,
her mama's awfully cute too. A good friend of mine.
The Southern Illinois Salukis will be coming to town.
All right, the Salukis. You know, at one time a friend of mine.
And then Purdue Fort Wayne will be coming down to play in the Trojan Classic.
Purdue Fort Wayne.
That's different than just Purdue.
I know it. You're right.
They used to be Indiana Purdue Fort Wayne.
I remember that. I remember that school. Yeah. But at one time, all the Yankee schools in the world were down here for spring break.
Yeah.
They couldn't practice up there because of the snow, but they'd come down here and they would spend a whole week in practice.
Yeah.
They'd be playing teams like Livingston, Troy, a bunch of teams like that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, we'll call the ambulance, Dad, on February the 19th and February 20th. You can walk down Crow Hill and then all the way up Elm Street to watch Troy and Old Miss on February 19th and 20th at Troy, Alabama. So that's 2 SEC games in a row.
Who is that now?
Playing our softball team?
Troy will play Old Miss in softball.
Oh, okay,
February the 19th and the 20th. You can walk from Crow Hill up to Elm Street.
Yeah, exactly. I love watching girls basketball.
I got to
softball.
I got to do this with you, Mike. I'm going to do it after, but I'm not going to start until after our breakfast today. I'm going to go all out.
Well, I'm going to get her maybe an omelet. You would
I want an omelet, and I want some hash browns and grits and toast.
Okay.
And biscuits.
I don't know if you'll get all that, but you might.
Oh,
I
dang
mean,
it.
Troy is playing everybody in softball. After they play Old Miss, they go play in the Carolina Classic. When they play in the Carolina Classic, they're going to play Miami, Ohio, which is a MAC school. But then after that, they play Ohio State in softball, Virginia Tech in softball, and South Carolina in softball.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. And they'll probably beat them both. Troy's going to be good. Troy's got a pitcher from Brantley, Mike. That is, her name is Johnson, her last name, and she is.
I think Leanna Johnson.
Have you ever heard of a shutdown pitcher? She is a shutdown pitcher. That means, ladies and gentlemen, they don't even hardly hit it. She's that good.
Well, Troy made the NCAA tournament last year.
Yeah, they're going to make it again this year. They're loaded. They're loaded.
When this basketball promotion that Michael mentioned, everybody put it on your calendar. What night is it? Saturday night.
That's right. Saturday night in
Saturday
Troy.
night, huge game against South Alabama, too.
About they're doing everything they can to make you have a great experience.
Well, I want to go down there and watch the ball game and come back. It's going to be a great
Well, you want to go
game.
Thursday. Troy's actually playing South Alabama
That's right.
twice
Thursday.
in 2 days.
That's right. Their biggest rival in basketball.
Go a
We'll
long
be
way,
back. It's 8 o'clock sharp. We'll be back.
Go a long way towards determining the season if you could win both of those games.
I wish you could taste how much better food tastes when cooked on a Green Mountain grill. But I can let you in on the reason that's true. Our pellets contain water, so they create steam while you cook, keeping your food moist. Does a gas or charcoal grill do that? I think not.
Come and see us at Southern Grill and Patio just off the square in Troy.
Life is hectic enough without worrying if your lights will stay on or if there's hot water for your child's bath. So count on natural gas to keep the energy flowing, even when the weather is unpredictable. Natural gas is always there to keep your home warm, showers hot, and food cooked to perfection. That's why America has relied on safe and affordable natural gas for more than 150 years. And we will be here for you and future generations too. You can count on natural gas from Southeast Alabama Gas District.
The Walmart Distribution Center in Brundage is now hiring. We've extended our $2,000 signing bonus until the end of January 2022. And you can go back to school with our Live Better You program. Apply online today.
Our community is the driving force behind our stores. Our commitment to you has been our #1 priority for over 30 years. Whether it is providing quality, fresh, local, and affordable products or aiding local schools, churches, and charities, Piggly Wiggly is here for you.
War Eagle! The Auburn Tigers are #1 in college basketball today. Bruce Pearl's Auburn Tigers are #1 in basketball, and now
They're playing tonight too.
Exactly right, and Big Albie will be there too. And
well, they're playing him at Missouri.
At Missouri.
You know, which Alabama, they beat Alabama, and then Alabama, they almost beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa, so Auburn's got to play those guys.
And as our tribute to the Tigers, we're going to let Albie sit up here with us today. And our
Auburn is a 13.5-point favorite over Missouri tonight at 7:30. I'm sure it's on TV.
You know, and Missouri's been playing everybody tough, Mike, haven't they?
It's kind of amazing. You know, Sonny Smith called into our show. If anybody called that day and was talking about his book and had mentioned at the time, he felt like Auburn was a team that could go to the Final Four. He was exactly right. Now they're #1 in the country.
Yeah.
They've only lost one game. The one game they lost was a triple overtime to Connecticut. It's pretty phenomenal what Bruce Pearl is doing. All the NCAA violations and sanctions seem like they're out of the way now, and they can go to postseason.
They can win it all, man.
I hope Bruce doesn't get too excited, though. He gets too excited.
He is a fiery guy.
He is a fiery guy, man. Hey, and when I was officiating, ladies and gentlemen, guys like that, they come up and get in your face, and then you do this to them, Mike.
Tee him up.
And I tell you, look, coach, and on your way to the bench, if you get another one, you're gone. That's the only way you can deal with a guy like him.
Did you ever say that?
Yes, sir.
Like that against the LSU coach the other day against Alabama. When they were playing Alabama, that was
I know it. They act crazy.
They finally gave him a D, but man, it took forever for them to tee him up.
And you know, and for them to know that the next one they're gone, they didn't know that right away. So go ahead and tech him. You know.
Well, was it you, Michael, that made the point, or that one reason I don't watch as much college basketball as I used to do is there's so many fouls. It's just a free throw shooting contest.
It sure is.
And I don't like that.
You know, they need to do this a little bit more. Look.
Let them play.
Look. That's charge. That's a charge.
I'll tell you my Bruce Pearl story. I was the managing editor of the Montgomery Independent, and I covered the...
all right, go ahead.
I covered the Rotary meetings on a regular basis because they'd have good speakers.
And good lunch.
And I did it at one Rotary. They have about 3 Rotary clubs in Montgomery, and Bruce Pearl spoke to one of them right after he'd been hired. And after I listened to that guy for 15 or 20 minutes, I said, he is going to be a huge success. And you could tell he knew what he was talking about and was going to get it done.
He sure has. And, of course, he came from Milwaukee. Am I right, Mike? Milwaukee.
In Tennessee.
He was out in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
That's when he became a star with that Milwaukee.
Then he got a job at Tennessee.
It was Wisconsin, Milwaukee. That's what it was. Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Isn't that right?
Yeah, and then he took Tennessee to the tournament several years, and then got NCAA probation and couldn't coach for 3 or 4 years.
I'm going to ask you all a little trivia while we're talking about other things. Who was the great trio at Tennessee back in the early 60s? And mid to early 60s, they were.
Talking about Ernie and Bernie?
Ernie and Bernie.
That was in the early 70s.
That was in the 70s.
Was that in the 70s?
I can remember Ernie and Bernie because the team that they were
the
competing.
Bernie and Ernie show, what they called it.
The team they were competing for SEC titles with was Sam Newton's Alabama team.
That's right. But it was fun to go watch. Let me tell you this.
They could light it up.
Ernie was good, but nothing like Bernie. Bernie was a great shooter, man, and
he was a phenomenal.
Yeah, he was cool as a cucumber.
Another one that was really good was Dominique Wilkins at Georgia.
Yeah, that's right. He was a great one too. Yeah.
And he had Barkley, and then followed by Person at Auburn.
He had Mule King at Alabama.
Mule King was great.
I used to love to go watch him play. Me and Calhoun and Falk, we used to go up there and watch him play a lot. And Calhoun and Falk are great lawyers, and of course they are always working. Want to mention Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, and of course looking for a career opportunity in the trucking business. They're a great outfit.
No better outfit to work for.
Wiley Sanders Trucking in Troy, Alabama.
I talked to a guy talking about basketball when I went to Bo Coppage's convenience store after a show. I saw a guy last night.
You mean Bo Coppage owns a convenience store?
Well, his wife Daphne helps him run it, but Bo's a banker. But
okay.
He owns. It's a great. He owns two. Owns one in Brundage too.
Yeah. Okay.
It's All American is what they call it. It used to be Pinkers.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But I saw a guy there, Jordan is his last name, and I vaguely remembered him. He went to high school with my brother Rush.
I know.
And he played basketball.
Baseball too.
He played basketball in 1979 with Darren Faison and I think Jerry Richards, and I had forgotten what a great basketball team Charles Henderson had Rush's senior year.
Now, are they the team that lost in the last 5 seconds to?
They went to Tuscaloosa. That was the big deal to go all Tuscaloosa, and they made it to the state playoffs. I think there were 4 or 8 teams that went to Tuscaloosa.
That's right.
They played with Tumpka in the first round in Tuscaloosa. I went to the game.
Yeah.
Because Rush and Mark Davis went to the game, and my mom let me and Charles Bradshaw go with them in 8th grade.
Yeah.
So we went up there and checked out of school to watch Charles Henderson play.
Who was driving?
Rush or Mark.
Really? Okay. All right.
And Charles Henderson lost on a last-second shot. And then that team they lost to went on and won the state championship. But that basketball team was the number 2 basketball team in the state and could have won a state championship.
All right, I remember that team well, and I want to say they played Hayes of Birmingham.
That was later.
What was it later?
That was Eddie McCarter was the coach then.
Well, let's just say that. I'll tell you this. This happened. This is how they lost the game. There was an inbounds pass. It was an inbounds pass that Charles Henderson couldn't get inbounds.
Oh my God!
And they turned it over to
in the state finals?
Hayes, and Hayes beat them on the last second.
I listened to it on the radio. I remember
it too. And it was one of those times that probably the greatest effort ever from a Charles Henderson basketball team. Probably ever. They were really good.
Well, there's been several that could have won the state championship, but they never did. It's like baseball. Coach Hogan's had so many teams, and Mr. Butch Austin that had the talent and were so close and finished second, I think, 3 times.
Yeah.
But they finally broke through, and when Steve Garrett was the coach and won one.
They finally came up with a tournament that would allow teams to have a double elimination and so forth.
Yeah, that helps too. Yeah, you're right.
And Charles Henderson had some great teams.
Yeah, Charles Henderson basketball team is 16-5. Probably the best basketball team they've had in years.
When do they play again? They play tonight?
They play tonight at home against Andalusia.
All right, I'm going to that game. I'm going to that game, Rice. That's going to be a great game right there.
You're not going to Andalusia, are you?
No, it's played in Troy.
It's in Troy.
Well,
Charles Henson's 16-5. Andalusia's had a rough season, only 7-15.
Oh man, what happened to Andalusia? I'll have to call my buddy and tell him to meet me.
Richard Robertson's not coaching there anymore.
I know it. He's bless his soul. Let me say this. He is. Excuse me. He's not quite as jiffy as he used to be, but what a great man Richard Robinson was. The head basketball coach at Andalusia.
Yeah, still is.
He coached the guy.
Dad had him on the show one time. It was a great interview.
Hey, Mike, I would say this, that your favorite player of all time was who?
Robert Ory.
Robert Ory, from Andalusia, Alabama, and of course went on to be was a great pro player, and they called him Big Shot Bob, didn't he?
How many NBA titles did he win?
Charles Henderson won 6 out of the last 7. Their only loss, right, is on the road at Vestavia Hills, a 7A school in Birmingham. They lost 77-72.
They have played a schedule, buddy, unlike any I ever remember. It ought to bode well when you get to tournament time.
Yeah. All right, we're moving around back.
They shouldn't be intimidated.
And also Alabama, for anybody that wants to go see one of the top teams in the country, Alabama will be at home against Baylor in basketball this weekend.
Oh, boy, that's going to be great.
It ought to be a hard sellout. Baylor is the defending national champions.
I will tell you this, that very few teams in the country support their basketball like Alabama does. I mean, it's a social treat, Mike, to go to Alabama.
The Coach Oates has done a good job of getting interest in it, but I was stunned to see when Alabama hosted Auburn a couple of weeks ago, that was not a sellout.
See, I didn't realize that. I would have thought that they had 15,000.
No, it was 13,400.
Well, they have 15,000.
For Auburn, the number one team in the country and Alabama's biggest rival, they did not sell it out.
Yeah, well, they must not have thought Alabama could win. They would,
well, the students were out of town when they played Auburn.
Yeah. Well, of course, we're talking basketball, we're talking football, and of course the big games this weekend, Mike, feature what four teams?
We got the Rams at home against the 49ers, and then you've got the Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Bengals.
Yeah. Well, let me say this.
I'm going to say Chiefs versus I'm going to say the Rams are going to win. The Chiefs and the Rams, and then that'll be the Chiefs and the Rams in the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs will win it again.
Yeah, let me just say this. The 49ers don't really deserve to be there. I mean, they fought hard and everything.
What are you talking about? They won at Dallas and at Green Bay.
I know what I'm saying. Well, let me just say this.
That is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
No, the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life was this. Mike, they weren't even getting first downs. They had blocked the kick. They blocked 2 kicks, and that's how they beat them. That's exactly how they beat them.
13-10.
Well,
yeah, but I would think that somebody could score some points.
Green Bay didn't try to move the ball. I mean, I will say that how in the world that running back got open at the end of the half with 20 seconds left. The guy catches the ball 15 yards away from anybody. You thought he was going to run it in for a touchdown. Instead, he hesitates and tries to wait for the defensive back to get there. I guess he thought he was going to try to run him over or something. But that should have been a touchdown.
Yeah. Well, I tell you this, the Rams will be
all... The field goal gets blocked before the half. So I mean, really, the Green Bay should have been up 10-0 at the half.
Well, let's say this, the Rams will be, the quarterback will be swarmed by that defensive front. They've got the best defensive front in football, isn't that right?
Well, I mean,
99 and 40.
The 49ers defensively are phenomenal, but I mean, the coach for the 49ers, Shanahan, is just phenomenal play caller. I mean, that guy. I mean, he put the 49ers to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. I mean, Kyle Shanahan's probably the best coach in football.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about him. He used to be married, well, still is married to a girl that had close ties to Troy. Did you know that?
No. That was the other coach. That was
his name was Shanahan.
No, that was Mike Shanahan. That was coach of the Broncos' son. It's Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, okay.
You're thinking about the former Chiefs coach, looks like Joel Amos, that passed away.
Yeah, but I wasn't thinking about him.
You're thinking about Schottenheimer.
Schottenheimer. How did I get off on Schottenheimer?
Shanahan is the guy that was the
okay.
coach of the Broncos when the Broncos won two national champions. I mean, not two national champions, two Super Bowls.
And Kyle and Shanahan's a big Kansas City guy. Used to be, wasn't he?
No, Schottenberger.
Schottenberger. Yeah, okay. I'll get.
Never mind. But there is a coach.
There's a Schottenheimer, and there's a
Marty Schottenheimer.
It's the sister of a girl that lives in Troy.
That's right.
What?
Yeah, twin sister. Yeah, you're right. I don't think she lives in Troy anymore. I'm not sure, but
yeah, that's his son.
Okay.
Joy Scarborough.
Yeah. Was he offensive coordinator or was he a head coach?
He was offensive coordinator.
Okay. Of course, his dad died, and he's a Joel Amos lookalike, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Looked just like him.
You got Kansas City Chiefs -7. That's a lot of points against the Bengals. I don't know what to think of that, in the 7 points. And then the Rams were only 3-point favorite at home against the 49ers.
I'm going to take the Bengals.
I love the Rams. I love the Rams.
I'm a Joe Burrow man.
I like Joe Burrow. Now, who do they play?
Chiefs.
They're the Chiefs, and they're a 7-point underdog.
Both games will be this Sunday. One game will start at 2, and the other game will be at 5:30.
Well, I'll say this: were they the team that gave up 9 sacks? Did they give up
9 sacks with the Bengals? Yeah, their starting offensive tackle is Jonah Williams.
They're terrible.
He gave up at least 3 or 4 of them.
They gave up in history.
When did he give up 9 sacks?
This weekend. Let me tell you something.
9 sacks this weekend. That's why the Titans should have won the game.
Oh yeah. Let me tell you something. In history.
The Titans are driving to kick a field goal. The crazy quarterback threw an interception.
Yeah, that's right. But
they were getting past old Jonah Williams, huh?
In the history of the National Football League, no team has ever given up 9 sacks and won the ball game.
Yes, and I didn't know that.
No team has ever won the ball game and given up as many sacks as they did.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that because I was a big fan of Jonah Williams when he was at Alabama.
Well, I mean, he's still a starting tackle, but he definitely got exposed in that game.
That's it. That's right. They had one guy that was playing. What game was that where the left tackle was playing with one leg? Did y'all see him? After every.
Might have been San Francisco's tackle, Trent Williams, at the very end.
Yeah, that's right. It was Trent. That's right.
They consider him the best tackle in football there.
Well, let me tell you, he was playing with one leg, and he must have done a pretty good job. But,
NFL, I mean, I will say I've had a love-hate relationship with the NFL, but man, when they play in the playoffs, these games usually are pretty amazing games.
Well, they are. They're playing for something, and
no question about it.
I don't watch a whole lot of NFL, but and I'll watch the next couple of games.
Mike, will you give us a portal how everybody's doing in the portal ranks tomorrow?
I have to pull it up. See.
And of course, with these football games coming up, with Troy basketball playing at home in one of the biggest games of the year for
South Alabama, Charles Henderson playing tonight against
Andalusia.
We got Alabama early tonight too on the SEC network. If anybody wants to watch Alabama at Georgia, that game will be at 5:30 on the SEC network.
Yeah.
Alabama,
glad you gave it to us.
Georgia looks like they'll be firing their coach Tom Crean, who's the brother-in-law of Jim Harbaugh. Crean is the head coach at Marquette and Indiana. He has the Georgia Bulldogs at 5-14.
Oh boy!
So Alabama's a 14.5-point favorite on the road against Georgia tonight. Boy, I hope Alabama wins out. If they lose it, they're going to be in trouble.
14 points is a lot of points.
Alabama is not looking very good. I mean, even when they win, they have to come from way behind to do it.
And the guy's got the worst hairdo. Oh gosh, why does a coach let a guy have a hairdo like that? That's terrible.
Alabama player.
All about personality, man. They let kids do what they want to do.
That's right, they sure do. And there's can't argue that.
You got back-to-back Auburn, Alabama tonight on the SEC Network. As soon as Alabama and Georgia is over, Auburn and Missouri. Auburn's a 13.5-point favorite at Missouri.
Are they on TV too? Are they both? Well, isn't that a great?
They're all on TV.
Both games will be on the SEC Network. You'd have to ask Steve what channel the SEC Network is on Troy Cable.
And what time is the Andalusia-Troy Charles Simpson game going to be? Do you know?
I don't know. You'd have to call the school on that one.
And the
I don't know how they're doing crowds as far as COVID issues too in the fight gym. I don't know if those games are open to the public or what. What's the status on that, right?
I haven't heard anything that they're not.
I haven't either. I haven't heard anything.
Okay.
But I used to do all these games on the TV, and I enjoyed doing it. But I'll tell you this, Betty Wagg's Gymnasium is a nice place to play basketball. Beautiful gym, named after the great Betty Wagner.
I played a lot of basketball myself in that gym. I mean, just pickup games. And my claim to fame in basketball is I was on the junior high basketball team with LK and Benny and Scott Rainey and all those guys. And one time we played a game at Charles Henderson High School's gym, which was a big deal, against Pike County High School, junior high, which was a big deal. And who do you think was the leading scorer for the baby Charles Henderson Middle School Trojans?
You.
14 points in that gym.
All right.
That was the peak of my basketball career.
And you played with LK Hooten, that won the national championship at AUN?
Yeah. He didn't score. I outscored LK that game.
I grew up with his brother Warren.
LK was great. He was a great
Mike,
player.
let me ask you a question. Would Richard Calhoun been a good basketball player? His daddy was a great basketball player.
Richard could dunk the ball. I mean, he was an athletic guy. Yeah, he definitely could have.
I mean, he would have developed.
None of those guys could have rebounded with Richard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I bet he would have been a good basketball player.
Yeah, he never even tried to play. He was good, though. He was a really good player.
Of course, I know you played against him a lot, one-on-one.
I played against him all the time. I'd win one or two, and he'd win probably out of 10. I'd probably win 2 of them.
And then when his daddy got home, all he did was take his shoes off and start shooting, didn't he?
Yeah, he was the guy that Richard was like 6'3.5", but jump. Richard had a jump shot. None of us had jump shots. We were like flat-footed shooters.
Yeah. Yeah, he would have been a good one, no question about it.
I love my favorite sport. I think just to play it, in the backyard or in the pickup game and sneaking in Sartain Hall is basketball, 3-on-3 or something.
Yeah. I'll tell you, somebody else would have been good. Well, Brian Meadows probably been a good basketball player.
I bet.
He played baseball, of course.
I'll be honest. I grew up with Brian my whole life. I don't think I ever played even a pickup game with Brian. I don't think Brian ever touched a basketball that I remember.
He was strictly a baseball player.
People say that about my dad. He was 6'5", and say, "Well, wasn't he a good basketball player?" No, he never played.
Yeah, we'll get Brian. Is Brian still coaching the team or working with the team in baseball?
I don't know. I'll find out. I'll send him a text and see if he's still working with Charles.
You were on the high school basketball team, weren't you?
Charles Henderson just got a pretty good retired coach from Troy University named Mark Smart.
Oh boy, and not only will these kids get great baseball knowledge, but they'll be involved with an outstanding individual. He's a great man, Mark Smart, and a class guy, class man.
That is something for the Charles Henderson players.
And of course, we've just got so many things going on. Again, we compliment the Auburn Tigers being named the #1 team in the country, and I imagine they're going to stay that way, Mike. Who's going to beat them?
Well, the SEC's tough.
I mean, the SEC top to bottom is the best the league's ever looked. I read the other day they looked like they might get 8 teams in the NCAA tournament. So So
I watched.
There's a chance to slip up somewhere.
I watched Purdue. They got a 7-2 guy. Have you ever seen him play?
No.
Purdue.
Yeah, I hadn't seen Purdue.
But Purdue's got a 7-2, and he's a pretty good player. But
what's helping Alabama's strength of schedule? They went at Gonzaga, and Gonzaga was number one last week. And then Alabama also went home against Houston. So those are two top 10 teams Alabama's already beat.
Mike, for people out there, give us the temperature this morning.
Down here in Grayton Beach, where I live, it's 48 degrees. I'll have to check on Troy.
48 degrees, and so that's a very cool morning.
It's going to be really, really cold this weekend, I've heard. I think it's going to be like in the 20s this weekend.
Down there where you are or up here?
Where I am, it's going to be in the 20s. So, yeah, in Troy, Alabama right now, it's 46 degrees. But listen to this. On Friday, Saturday, Saturday morning it's going to be 25 degrees. Sunday morning it's going to be 19 degrees in Troy.
19 degrees Sunday morning.
Leave your
Boy, that's going to be a cold,
let your faucet straight.
but a great time to go to a basketball game. And it's going to be a super game, ladies and gentlemen, at the Trojan Arena when the Trojans go.
Got eight transfer players from all over the place. Texas A&M, LSU.
Yeah.
And you're going to be watching a lot of great players.
I think, Mike, I think it's going to affect basketball more than any sport because, I mean, we're talking about that you can put together 5 players off the portal and you're ready to go.
Well, if you get 2 good players, you're
why
ready
even
to go.
worried about signing them to a scholarship? You got them on the portals.
Yeah.
And you got, in fact, one thing about it, if you go one time on the portals, you're stuck with that team forever. Is that right, Mike?
No.
Well,
I mean they can't transfer at one time.
You can always transfer and sit out a year if you want to.
Yeah, that's right. But the portal has its good points and its bad points, and but it looks like teams like.
My whole thing with college basketball would be also if they would make instead of 5 fouls you foul out. I wish they had the NBA rules where you had 6 fouls to foul out.
Well, let me tell you, in the all across the world, there's good basketball. And I would think that it wouldn't be a bad idea to go out and get 4 or 5 guys from Europe. And,
Europe, yeah.
There'd be some good basketball, wouldn't it?
Well, Mike, you and I, Mr. Mike Amos, we went to a game earlier this year, and it was Troy, Jack State, I think.
Yeah.
Troy has about 2 or 3 international players, but Jack State had about 5.
Yeah, I don't think Troy has any international players.
The 2 transfer big guys were originally international guys, and then they got a 6'10" guy that's from Canada.
Who Troy's got?
Troy's got one from some African nation.
Okay, that's right.
They've got 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But Jack State had all their stars were really well, except for the guy that transferred from Troy, were from weird countries you would have never expected. Croatia.
Troy. When they played Jack State, you knew it was a pretty good game. Because Troy now is 13-6, and Jack State's now 13-6.
Well, you know what? They have their best player is a transfer from Troy. Played at Troy last year.
Yeah, Jack State gave Alabama
2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah. And he's a good guy too. I tell you, he did something that really impressed me after that Troy game. Of course, that was a tremendous game, and Troy won the game. But he wanted to see all of his friends, and it was just like a big reunion because
Well, he gave the game away in overtime with about 20 seconds left. He missed 2 free throws.
Yeah.
He's an 80% free throw shooter. That's the reason Troy won the game.
And you know what they did? They put him 4-on-1, and what they did, they put him 1-on-1, and and they say foul me, and they fouled him, and he missed both shots.
Well, I think how good Troy would be if they had him playing this year.
Yeah, no question about it. But of
We'll
course,
talk to y'all tomorrow.
I appreciate it. Mike Amos calling in from Great Beach this morning. Of course, Bill Rice, my partner here. We hope you have a great weekend or a great Tuesday, and we'll see you on a Wednesday morning, bright and early for Today in LA. Have fun.
I wish you could taste how much better food tastes when cooked on a Green Mountain grill. But I can let you in on the reason that's true. Our pellets contain water, so they create steam while you